Hey everyone, so today I want to talk about your business, and if you're finding that you're capped at a certain income or you just can't seem to take it to the next level, or one of the biggest things that I know is that you've done your research, you're taking courses, lots of programs, gathering a lot of information, but nothing seems to be closing the gap between where you are and what you want. And the big one is repeating patterns. So when you can literally look at yourself and own it, that there's patterns that you see that you doing daily that you know are not productive towards getting what you want. So being able to witness these patterns and see, okay, this is just what happens in my business. I get to this level and then it drops, or I get all these clients sign up and then they leave, or I have this ebb and flow where it works really well for a little while and then it comes right back down again. So these are the patterns that I want to talk about today in your business so that you can understand why they're happening and not think that it's because it's meant to be or it's your destiny. It's all to do with your frequency and energy. It's your perception and your behavior. So there's so many things that most people don't understand because they look at the tangible, they're looking for the things to do instead of understanding about the intangible and what's causing the patterns, what's causing the income, what's causing all the clients leaving, what's causing this byproduct. And that's where I want to go today. So the most important part of you is outside of the third dimension. I've talked about that all the time. I've shared many, many times in my programs and my master classes that for you to change anything in your life, you cannot do it in the physical realm. I know a lot of you watching me are still trying to find the formulas, the to-dos, the what do I need, how do I do it type of questions, which keep you locked into the third dimension. And if you notice, they're not really scaling your business. They're not really changing the game for you. And if they do, they're not sustainable. You're either burnt out, you're overworked, you don't feel good in your business, you aren't even excited about your business anymore. If any of these things are showing up for you, the first thing I want you to understand is there is a misalignment in your field. And like I've shared recently, well, in many reels, that you are governed by laws. We weren't just dropped into this matrix by the creator and just have free will to do anything we want. Yes, we have free will, but we have perimeters. There are like rules to the game, and most of us never knew what they were. So this is why you see the distortion and the chaos and the repeating patterns, because you just don't understand how to play the game. But once you align yourself with it and understand it, then you become a conscious creator. You design your reality. You literally create it and expect it and manifest what you want or more, because you're now aligned with these laws. So this is what I want to talk to you about in terms of you understanding why you're creating what you're creating so that you can change it and create what you want. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is patterns. If you start to see repeating patterns, the same income year after year or month after month, you see the same type of people coming into your world, the same clients with the same issues, with the same experiences, and you want something more, and nothing seems to be shifting at a quantum level, then you have to go within yourself and realize that you are the one who hasn't changed. And that can be a hard thing for some people because it's your frequency that's calling in all of these experiences, and it's your frequency that's giving you the income that you have. But we are taught to go and do more to get more. And that's not how universal laws work. You have to become the version of you to receive it. It's completely different. So you can either work in harmony with law and effortlessly create what you want, or you can continue to push the boulder up the hill, try your hardest, keep pushing, keep trying, and hoping that one day when you're 70, you might get what you want. Like, this is not how it's supposed to work, but that's how the system wants you to believe it works. So you are the reason. Your frequency is calling in your income. So if your patterns are repeating, that means you haven't changed. So this is where I want you to understand the core fundamental reason for why you have what you have. That's what I think is missing in this world. That's what I know is missing in business, is people want more. They want to grow their business. They want to have different clients. They want to have more freedom. There's things that they're growing. You are growing. And your business will be a byproduct of that. But if you don't grow, if you don't change, neither can your business. Now, what still blows my mind, for all of you who are entrepreneurs, you have to be studying personal development. You're probably studying all kinds of success books and money books and how to make money and all this. But if any of you have ever heard of Bob Proctor, I worked very closely with Bob back in 2015 to 2018. And Bob taught 99% of his work was always about the mind. A lot of you are going to see the stick person when you think of Bob. This was the most powerful part of a paradigm shift. It was the mind, which is what? Your thoughts, and your thoughts create your frequency. So he taught in depth about the invisible side of who you are, because you have two sides to your personality. You have the physical side, but there is a non-physical side. And I don't know many people, like even to this day, after Bob has gone, who's teaching the non-physical side of you, because that's where all causation begins. See, Bob knew the universal laws. He taught the law of attraction, but he taught universal laws with the mind. He taught all about the principles of who you are and how you manifest the life that you desire. And he was extremely successful teaching people and having and living that exact life. So what I just want people to understand is the first main law is the law of cause and effect. Now you have to think, and I want all of you to really think about this. You're living in a world of effects. Because you were always taught, the system only taught you about the physical aspects of yourself. There's nothing else. Everything else is separate from you, and you are only a physical being, and all that's available is a physical universe. When you have to contemplate this, where does your imagination take you when you're in it? Is it physical or non-physical? Where are you going when you astral project, or when you're dreaming, when you go to sleep? These are non-physical realms that you are a part of. But when you come into the physical realm, you just focus, laser focus on the physical, and you dismiss everything else. And yet the biggest part of who you are is in all of those other realms. And the smallest part of you is in the physical realm. So let me tell you how we were taught by the system to get what we want. Okay. So we are energetically programmed in the system to be in complete lack frequency, scarcity, fear, all of that. That is our coding that we get when as soon as we open up our eyes on this planet. So this is your fundamental frequency. Now they tell you, if you want to have more money, if you want to be more successful, what you need to do in the physical realm is do more of ABC. Go do more of this. Go try harder. Go do all this. Now, all of you who are following me, if you understand energetics, which I'm sure a lot of you do, you understand that what you resist persists energetically. So when you keep pushing, the only thing that you can get back is more pushing, more resistance, more of what you're giving. So you have to look at inside here, the internal part of you, and go, what am I offering to the universe? What is my fundamental frequency? Because that is the core of what you manifest. That is the core of why you have the patterns that you have playing out. So you cannot do anything physically. You can work your ass off until the cows come home, but you will never be able to change or reshape that reality because it's already finished. I want to give you a great example, and it's just physics, but this is how it is. And this is where I want you to look at yourself as this as well. So when you think about water and you heat it, it starts to turn into steam. It rises in the air, turns into steam, and then eventually into the ether. So it's invisible, but it's still there. It was part of the water. It's still entangled with it. There's no separation. So when you look at yourself, you as a human, you look at the human, but as you raise in consciousness, as you rise, you get less and less dense. You turn into spirit, soul, invisible, but you're still part of the human. This is what I want you all to understand. They don't want you to know that you're connected to something outside of you, outside of the five senses. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not there. So when you heat water and it turns into steam and then into the ether, is it there still? Yes. Where'd it go? It's still present, but you can't see it with the physical eyes, but you can feel it with energy, because energy cannot be created or destroyed. So you have to understand that you as a physical human is just a down step in energy from the spirit, from the other higher self, outside of your physical senses, the intangible, the invisible realm. So you need to really start to accept the fact that there's more than just the physical you hear, and that it takes wholeness and unity for you to manifest exactly what it is that you want, because that's what harmony is. That's what alignment means. Now, some of you will recognize that you have a gap. There's something that you know that you desire, something that you've wanted for a long time, and yet you've been trying to do things physically in the physical realm, and you just haven't seemed to get it. Or if you come close, it's not sustainable. It seems to always fall backwards. So this is where you have to understand the physical world is the physical effect. It is the byproduct, but you don't ask the question, byproduct of what? So if whatever you receive, if your income is a byproduct, if money is a byproduct, then where is the cause of the byproduct? You can't see it because it's outside of your physical senses. The invisible or the intangible realm where you reside is the cause of all things. So when you think about the universal law of cause and effect, it is one of the biggest laws. No one knows where first cause is. They believe it's in the physical world. So do you understand why you're chasing your tail? Do you understand why you're constantly struggling and trying to get something? It's impossible to fool laws, and you can't trick energy. So you either learn how to align with it and understand the game, or you continue to live your life trying, pushing, struggling to barely get what you want. Which way would you rather go? So now I want to talk about patterns. Every single one of you can look at your life right now and say, yeah, I know that when this particular event comes up, I procrastinate, I stop, I react this way, I don't do what I know I should do. So this is where the gap stays big, because you're not shifting, you're not changing at all. And so if you're not changing, behavior is what creates an effect, right? Your behavior governs what it is that you receive in your life. So when you look at your behavior, what's causing your behavior? Behavior doesn't cause behavior. There is something that causes behavior, and that is your thinking. That is your identity. That is who you are. You thinking, your invisible side, is what's causing your behavior. So if you're going to try to change behavior in the physical world by behavior, you're going to lose. This is what we do because we're taught to do this. So what do? Patterns repeat themselves because we haven't shifted. We're the same person. We're just rearranging the furniture. We're not changing at all, but we're doing things physically that looks like we're busy. It looks like we're doing things that should work, but we haven't got it in our heads yet that it's not about what you do. It's who you are first, who you're being, that shapes your reality. Your reality is never shaped. It is never manifested because of all of the hard work you're doing, unless you are completely in alignment first with who you're being. So if you want to have 100K months, 100K days, you have to be in alignment with that. There is no amount of work, no amount of strategies that you can do that will get you to those incomes unless you are a match for it first. So now I really want to go in depth about the repeating patterns. I want people to understand, why are they happening? You know, it's very responsible for us to take responsibility and say, okay, yeah, I see that I have repeating patterns. I see it in my relationships. I see it with the type of income I have. It's not growing. It stays around the same. I see it with how much work I have to do. You can start to see, it's very obvious that you have a pattern that seems to play out in your life. And this comes back to who you're being. So where I want you to understand is the perception is very key to creating quantum leaps. Where are you perceiving yourself from? This is important. Joe Dispenza says that we spend 80 to 90% of our thoughts on yesterday, which means your past. So if 80 to 90% of our thoughts today are from our past, do you think that anything's going to change? If you're thinking from your past, and all of your experiences, all of your beliefs from when you were a child, those traumas, the shadows, if you're thinking from whatever it is that you've succeeded at and achieved at this far in your life, how are you going to get higher than that? How are you going to create a quantum leap if you're thinking from the past? This is where perception comes into play. How you perceive yourself and how you perceive the world is how you create a quantum leap. So if most of our day today we're spending looking at our past, whether it's conscious or unconscious, results don't lie. What you have mirrored out in your reality right now is exactly who you're being. Exactly. The mirror doesn't smile first. It needs you to smile first. So this is where I really want to just nail it, that you need to understand that the invisible side of who you are, the non-tangible realm, is where all causes begin. And we're taught to go into the physical realm and change things there. And this is why 99% of humanity in business are struggling, because they don't know what they're doing and they're energetically out of alignment. You cannot rearrange furniture enough times to get a brand new home. The home is going to stay the same home no matter what furniture you buy and no matter how you rearrange it. The home needs to be upgraded. So what does that mean? You do. Boom. You need to be upgraded. You need to grow and expand. You need to be able to hold more energy. You need to become the version of you that matches what it is that you desire to close that gap. And that cannot be done, my friends, by looking at the past. And this is where perception comes in. If you're staring at the past, if you're living as that identity, it will only keep giving you more. So you got to shift your perception. And perception is a spiritual aspect of yourself, not a human. Oh my God, I love this stuff so much. It is so powerful when you totally get it. So let's just look at a couple things that are part of your spiritual aspect personality, not the human personality, that totally align you with your personal power, that will give you everything that you want in like quantum time, because there is no time or space there. It will totally change your life in like illogical ways, because now you're operating from this version of you and using the tools that comes with that personality. So let's use them. Intuition is one of them. Imagination is another. And so is memory. So this is where I want to talk to you about memory right now. You're living in your past from memories. And it was specifically done that all of us received traumas, fears when we were children, because that affects you as an adult. That determines whether you'll be successful, whether you'll be willing to show up as your true self, or will you dim your light and hide and conform because they don't want you to be you. They want you to stay the exact same version of you as a child, as an adult. The only thing that changes is the house. So you have to understand that these spiritual tools that come with who you are in the invisible realm, the intangible realm, are just as real and just as important as the physical realm. So when you can touch something right now, when you can see something right now, it's real to you. But your imagination is just as real. Your intuition is just as real. All of us have gotten intuitive hits. And your memories are just as real, because right now, if I ask you to think about your fridge in your home, boom, you just remembered what your fridge looks like. You have to align with your personal power. Be one, not separate. And you will create powerful things in a very short period of time. That's the quantum way. How do you create from these spiritual tools what it is that you desire? You got to shift your perception. You got to change your perception and create memories. Look at memories from where? Your future self. Is your future self right here in the physical world with you right now? No. But that person is just as real on a different timeline as you are right now on this timeline. So when you start to shift your perception, perceive yourself as a different person, as a different identity, not living from your past, but living from your future, you change the effing game, my friends. And I'm not joking when I say that. Your whole entire energy, your essence shifts. Why? Because where you place your attention is what grows and expands. So if you place your attention on the identity of the version of you that you truly want to experience, your whole entire frequency, your energy field shifts. And this is why you start to attract into your life everything you need for the manifestation of that. But we're not taught that, are we? We're taught to stay in the past. We don't even know we are. We're looking at that identity all the time. And yet physically, I hope you guys get this, physically, we're working our asses off trying to shape reality in the physical. You can't shape reality in the physical. It's already done. You shape reality in the non-physical. Like I shared about the spiritual tools, imagination's one of them. Imagination is the portal into the quantum field, and we don't use it the right way. We're using it every day. Because when you look in your past, consciously or unconsciously, you're thinking from your past, you're using memories from your past, but what else are you using? You're using pictures. Just like I said, if I ask you right now, what does your fridge look like in your house? You know exactly what it is because a picture pops on your mind. That's your imagination, my friend. So your imagination is powerful, but where you're directing your consciousness is either in the past on the identity that's keeping you right where you are, repeating the same patterns, or you're going to create a new identity from your future self, but you need your imagination to do so. So environments are very important as well, because if you keep looking at your 3D environment, you're only going to keep repeating that. So there's so many things, so many moving parts, but they're not as hard as you think once you understand the game. And that's why I think so many of us have lost for so long in business, is because we never understood the rules. And then if you don't understand the rules, it's like hit or miss. Sometimes you win, sometimes you don't. And then you try to repeat the same things that got you the win in the first place. And now you're trying. Now you're out of alignment. It's a shit show. But when you understand the laws and when you understand you, it's over. Now you design your life. You are no longer being bounced around in the ocean. Now you create it. You are the ocean. And that is personal power, my friend. And that's what I want for all of you. Oh my God, I get so hot for this stuff. This is just so powerful when you know this and when you can get it and understand it. So this is what I want to share with all of you. I've shared so much today, and that's just a piece of it. I have created a 5-day masterclass that's going to start October 1st. And it's called Quantum Reality. And I'm going to show you the invisible personality of who you are and how you roll with the physical personality. I'm going to show you how to become one. I'm going to show you what unity really looks like and how you close the gap from what you have now to what you want. Because I'm going to show you how come you have it. That is the most important part. You're going to understand now why you keep repeating the patterns or why you have the income that you have. And then once you understand that first, then you can change everything. So this is the fundamental part of it. It's getting to know who you are, the real truth of who you are as a whole being. In the spiritual, invisible realm as a quantum you and the physical you and how you both operate. Because every day you're operating together anyways. But when you don't understand one part of you, it's a shit show. So how about we get into wholeness and unity, which is why they tried to divide you in the first place, and become one with who you truly are. And when you do that, that's when the magic happens. Quantum Reality is going to be 5 days, a masterclass. It's on pre-sale right now for $99. I will leave the link right below here, or you can DM me for the link. This will be a pre-sale price for a certain period of time, and then it will be going up before we start. So if this is something that you have noticed in your life, right? You notice that you have repeating patterns. You notice that you're capped at the same income. You notice even your own behaviors. You're like, oh, I don't like that I keep behaving like this. I'm reacting to the world. It's time that you take back that control, self-mastery, where the world is no longer going to cause you to react because you are the one who's designing it. It's a completely different experience. So if this is something you want to do so that you can apply it in your business, so that you do not have to be frustrated anymore because you understand the game, you know exactly why you're getting the results that you're getting, and then you can shift them, then this masterclass will be for you. I'll leave it down here below for you to click on the link for our pre-sale price for $99. We'll see you soon.